Next up is Jim Jandra with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Human resource.
Hector needs to go first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to move things around. I guess we're all getting pretty flexible around that. And Hector's going to speak first, and then we'll do the recognition after.
Morning, everybody. Morning, everybody. Take three. I don't have too much this morning. Just a couple quick updates. The first, I guess, and foremost is we have decided to go to 7 days a week in Loon's Nest buffet service, beginning the first. Well, probably not the week of the 21st. We're trying to identify the day. It's probably going to be the 22nd or the 23rd, but I'll update everybody. We're going to go to menu service from buffet. So the 2 days that we do. Somebody wants to, did I misspeak it? Okay, so we're going to go to menu service 7 nights a week, okay, instead of having the buffet 2 nights a week. I just feel like after all of the input that I've received on it, plus and minus, the majority kind of rules, and the majority is really leaning towards served meals in there. I think it gives a better variety. I think your service levels increase just by the repetition with the team, and that was the plan all along, is to get them repetitively serving you at the tables instead of just servicing the buffet and picking up your plates and things like that. I don't have the date nailed down. It's going to be the week of the 21st. I just have to confirm with Chef whether he wants to do it the 22nd or the 23rd. So it'll be one of those days before we do the buffet that week, so that obviously we can just roll right into a la carte. At that same time, we'll be changing our menu in there and updating our menu as well. So basically 2 moves at the same time, and hopefully we're going to be able to continue to grow that menu slightly. We've gotten some feedback from people. We're welcoming feedback as we develop that menu out. So we've got some good recommendations already that we plan to add to it, and I think that, you know, Loon's Nest continues to grow and move into where we want it to be. We are actively interviewing for a sous chef position in there as well, which will again post some leadership up in the kitchen there, so it allows Chef to concentrate on what he needs to concentrate on instead of back and forth Loon's Nest. So I think these are all positive moves for the Loon's Nest, and we're excited about them. It's been a long time coming, I got to be honest with you. The only other thing that I have, except for some updates on construction, I did approve everything for the servery last Thursday, sent it up. There's a couple pieces of the puzzle that they're working on that I had some changes, and then they'll give me and assign a construction date that will begin that construction. So we're excited about that. The storeroom's almost done, so we're moving in the right direction, and I think that certainly is going to help us to execute better, quicker, faster, and have more variety. So those are the 2 major updates. I am rolling out a dining code of conduct. I'll put it in my newsletter, and I'll put it into any of the communications moving forward. It's basically is just, you know, I can read through the whole thing, but I'd rather not read through the whole thing and take everybody's time up on it. But it is basically just kind of dining updates as far as how we treat one another in the dining rooms, how we respect other residents in the dining rooms, things like that. Very basic, nothing outside of the box, but I felt like I wanted to be able to put something out like this, and it's time to put something out like this so that we can just keep everything centered and moving in the right direction. Does anybody have any questions? No? You guys taking it easy on me today, eh? Thank you. It's a good day. I'm going to play the lottery.
Take that to the bank, Hector.
I am.
We like this every day. Next is Angie. You're going to go first?
No.
Okay. Next up is Angie. I'm supposed to be in front of the camera. Angie's going to do employee recognition, and you get 2 months, not
2
one.
months. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. So we are, yes, congratulating 2 months worth of Rookies of the Month and Employee of the Month. I'm not sure if we all can get here in the spot at the same time, but I'm going to announce your names. And then, Nancy, if you can give me the pens, I'll give the pens out, because I don't think, because we have 2 months of people, they all can't stand in front.
But I'm not giving you the super glue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So join me in congratulating our first Employees of the Month for both July and August. We have Scott Marquette, Lexi Rebior. Is Lexi here? She's not here?
She's here somewhere.
Okay. Dean Howell. Okay, okay. Our people at work. Abby Maroney. Abby, okay. We may have room up here then. We have Larry Priester. Is Larry here?
No, he's sleeping.
Okay, all right, because he worked.
Overnight shift.
Yes, and Deborah Hill. Deborah. And last but not least, Austin Bowl. Come on up, we have room. So for Rookie of the Month in July, Scott is already making a name for himself at the community.
Good job, Austin.
Known by his colleagues as a dragon slayer, he conquers anything that comes across his path. His positive attitude and infectious smile and contagious way of doing things makes him a treat to work with. He worked hand in hand with Andy Perez on completing a fall detection prevention system installation, which was 2 years in the making. I'd like to congratulate you for having such a big impact in such a small amount of time. Congratulations, Scott. Next, I would like to congratulate Lexi Rebior, Sales and Marketing Assistant. Since Lexi joined the Sales and Marketing team, she just jumped right in, and already has made a huge impact within the department. She has tackled all she has been given with ease and does it with a smile every day. She embraces the LCS hospitality promises in every interaction she has with prospects, residents, and staff alike. It feels like she's been with us longer than 90 days, and we are truly excited to see what the future holds for her here at Cypress Village. So I'd like to congratulate her in her absence as well. Next, I would like to recognize July Employee of the Month, Abby Maroney, ALMC Sales Manager. Abby began her career with Cypress over 7 years ago with Concierge. Following some time at Concierge Desk, she was promoted to Sales and Marketing Assistant position. Most recently, she was promoted once again to her current role as Assisted Living Memory Care Sales Manager. Abby has a natural way of handling any kind of situation in relative ease and is always focused on providing solutions. Abby gives 110% of all she does. She is here early, stays late, and simply gets the job done. So we congratulate you, Abby.
All right, Abby.
And now for the August Rookie of the Month. Please help me congratulate Deborah Hill. Deborah is a driver in our transportation department. Deborah Hill has been with Cypress since June of this year and has already demonstrated how much she loves being part of a fantastic community. Her work ethic and dedication are always on display, and our residents have noticed that. Deborah has always received a plethora of comment cards and valors from residents, and her co-workers are extremely appreciative of her glowing smile and welcoming demeanor. You may have seen her around the village with the Sunshine Fun Cart and we are sure you will see her even more in the future. Be sure to congratulate her again and again. In such a short time has she demonstrated such a big impact. So congratulate you, Deborah. Our next Rookie of the Month for August is Larry Priester. He's sleeping because he worked. He is a security guard for plant. Larry has been a fantastic addition to our night shift security team. You may remember Larry from one time with us as a concierge, and we are so fortunate to have him back after a 4-year hiatus in Savannah, Georgia. His knowledge of Cypress Village community has graced the security team, and we are grateful for his knowledge and for him being on the overnight team where he was needed. Larry is he's a successful businessman outside of Cypress Village. He owns his own car detailing company, and many residents and staff of Cypress Village have experienced his skills firsthand. So we'd like to congratulate him in his absence. So now we have Mr. Austin Bull. He is the Employee of the Month for August. Austin is one of the remarkable young men who has been with Cypress Village for 6 years. He started with us as a busser, and his dedication and strong work ethic allowed him to move up to serve a position. In addition to Cypress Village, Austin puts in a lot of time with Special Olympics, where he competes in both basketball and surfing. Yeah. Not only is he deserving of the Employee of the Month, he deserves a gold medal too. Yeah. The dining leadership team is regularly receiving positive comment cards for residents regarding Austin's superior service in Middleton's. We sure are lucky to have him in our dining team, and we congratulate you, Austin. Didn't forget you, girls. Employee of the Month also, I almost forgot, is the concierge team. The entire team. Okay. We want to extend our heartfelt appreciation to our outstanding concierge team. Their unwavering commitment to providing top-notch service has not gone unnoticed. Their warm smiles, personalized assistance, and willingness to go above and beyond have created many meaningful experiences for our residents and guests. Whether it's greeting visitors with genuine hospitality or handling difficult requests, they are consistent in showcasing professionalism and dedication, and I congratulate you. You do a wonderful job. Congratulations. Come on up, ladies, because I want to give you, thank you. Give me your pen. Congratulations, all individuals for July and August. Awesome. Awesome. There you go. Well.
Step stool. Step stool.
Congratulations. Abby.
Happy you also. Congrats.
Thank you.
Great here. Party.
Thank you very much. It is really good work.
Carrying without a cane. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, sweetheart. I'm sorry about it.
Yeah, Ricky.
Thank you.
Yeah. I spoke to him directly. Good job. Congrats. Congrats. Congrats.
Thank you, Angie. And congratulations to all the staff that are being recognized today. just going to tell you a little bit about what's going on with the RAC. Even though we took last month off, we somehow did get some things accomplished, and we've updated the policies and procedures for the RAC. We updated the bylaws, and I will be going over the bylaws changes with you in November to vote on them. They're very small changes in how we do business. It's, I'll go ahead and tell you about it now, but I'm going to be brief. Some of us felt like it was difficult when the elections were called the same day as the November community meeting, because if you have more people nominated than win, it can be a little hurtful to some people. And so we thought a gentler, kinder way to do it is to tally the results the night before or the day before and then contact the people by phone. I would contact the people by phone. And if they feel bad about it, they can stay home and feel bad about it, or they can put a big smile on their face and come. So that is the main change we make. We also have an elevator committee that we started, has Jack Burnell and Don Gadd on it, who both have experience in technology and building, and they will help review some of the bids that Dave gets. We also started a parking committee. We have Jack Burnell, Jackie Bussey, Marcia Green, and Howard Wise. So we're still looking for one other person. So that's kind of the quick update from the RAC. And I also need to do the treasurer's report because Louise is in Seattle. Oh, and I wanted to mention, I don't know if you noticed, that Nancy Rochester has agreed to join the RAC, not just chair the committee. So welcome, Nancy. And I shouldn't say this in front of Nancy, but please, everyone, be very nice to her because we're hoping she'll run for next year. She's so competent. It seems like there was one other. I have too many notes in too many places. Oh, and Jim Griffiths will be doing the dining portion of the update from the RAC. He's been so helpful and has been, helping Louise get the money during coffee chat. So, to the money, we have $778.18. We did donate $300 to the CV log, so we're chucking along there. I have two agendas that I'm working off. The one I did and the one Katie did. So next is the Cypress Village Log Report. Linda Daughtry.
I'm Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Caroline and I are doing Let's Hobble to the Podium bit this morning. The staff of the Cypress Log wants to thank
Barbara.
Whoopsie, sorry. The staff of the Cypress. Is that on?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The staff of the Cypress Log would like to thank all who donated to last month's annual fundraising. Unfortunately, this fund drive, as well as last year's fund drive, did not produce funding adequate to produce and print a Cypress Log every month. You might want to know that we're continuing to print the log because when we did a survey at the beginning of last year, that was what the residents of Cypress Village wanted. The most disappointing thing was that although we distribute 600 paper copies of the Cypress Log when it's printed, we received only about 150 donations, totaling $12,500 of our goal of $20,000. The staff is formulating a schedule for the publishing of the Cypress Log through August of next year, consistent with the available donated funds. So there will not be a September Cypress Log produced and distributed. The staff is currently talking about alternatives to the future. Can we read something into what happened the last 2 years? Do you want to have the Cypress Log coming to you every month? Do you only want it every other month? Again, a big thanks to all our donors. There just weren't enough of them. Thank you.
committee updates. Jim Griffiths is going to do the one for dining, and he's going to talk about the goals that dining came up with this year.
I made copies of the goals, and they'll be up here if you want to pick one up afterwards. But basically, this has two parts. One is the bylaws of the RAC, and the second part, excuse me, is the goals the committee itself chose for the remaining part of the year, consistent with the bylaws. So the bylaws say the dining committee of the council is advisory to the dining services department. The goal of the committee is to provide a formal meeting venue where discussions may be held and recommendations made to the RAC or to the dining services group. The proposed goals are, as I said, supportive of the bylaws. We'll continue to provide an open channel of communications between the residents and the dining services management regarding the dining experience. We're going to develop, we have developed direct open communications.
There you go.
Okay.
A little closer. There you go, Jim.
Especially the dining roundtable, which I think has been successful in giving the residents some feedback to the dining management. So the dining committee is a committee of the RAC, and therefore the chairman is Linda Louise Fontecchio, and the other committee members are Mary Broxma, Barbara Hooper, and Joan McVeigh, and me. So we're happy to accept any comments you have, but we think the best way to communicate your comments is to use the dining cards or to go to the dining roundtable. The minutes of the meeting are put in the binder in the library, so you can always check there to see what happened at the meeting. Any questions for me? Pick up one of these copies on your way out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. That was really nice. Appreciate it. Next up is a report on facilities. Pam Imholes.
This one?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Pam.
Have a nice day, I hope.
Yes.
We're excited. We have completed the flat roof on the healthcare center. Okay, and you've seen all that work and all that mess, so that's completed. Unfortunately, we do not have a start date from the vendor, from the contractor, on the shingled roof. So that's clearly going to be delayed. That has an impact on us redoing the front walkways with the shark coating, because understandably we don't want to put it in and then have these huge trucks or lifts come in and destroy it. So that's kind of backed up that too. Concrete, as you have noticed, we didn't have anything in June or July, and that's really due to the fact that we can't get a good commitment from a concrete company. So we do have a bid, we do have a vendor who we expect to be here August 21st to perhaps start work. He'll be in to meet with the facility management next week in preparation for that. But it's a different vendor, so we're just not sure. So we hope that's going to happen. Those of you who use the fitness center are aware that we have some extra equipment in there, tables, chairs, whatnot, from the rehab center. So that's going to continue for a couple of weeks because the rehab work in the original rehab center has been delayed due to the electrical contractors. The guy quit, and now they have to find a new one who hopes to start on the 14th of August. So that'll push it back a couple of weeks. But I go up to the fitness center regularly, and it's, you know, it's a little crowded, but it's definitely workable. So please don't stay away just because of that. And the two people up there working in rehab are very, very nice. Very, very nice. The new, we have 3 new heating and air conditioning units that have been approved for our common areas. The 2 in the main dining room, which I totally agree we need. I always think it's too warm in there. And 1 in the salon, 1 unit for the salon, that new entertainment room, and the veterans lobby. So those are 3 new units that have been approved and will be being installed in the coming months. And I have this paper. I have, the PMs have started up again. We were a little short on contractor, on maintenance gentlemen, technicians, but they have started up again, and they hope to finish William Davis in August. The power washing is just doing wonderfully. They finished Croton, my street. Then I think they're doing Silkvine, Silkberry, and Indigo, and then they'll be done. Of course, that'll take a month or so to do that, but anyway, they do a fabulous job, and I can't say enough good things about the people who are there. They're very, very nice, very considerate. They move your plants if you don't move them yourself. And Dave has also contacted the lake doctors, and they'll be in to treat the ponds. We have some scum on some of the ponds, which has been caused typically by the high heat. I guess probably the runoff from the rain on the... with the runoff because of the fertilizer and things that are on the grass. So that continues that with the high heat. And just one thing in Pat's leaving. Just remember, work orders work. In other words, put them in, especially for gutters. You know, that's an important thing. That's not a regular thing unless you're, I guess, getting your whole PM done. So if your gutters clog up, please call and just put in a work order and keep track of that work order. If things are going slow, you know, let us know. My committee consists of myself, Jack Burnell, Don Gadd, Kate Chambers, I know I'm going to forget somebody, Claudia Story, and Lee Wardenrich. So we're available, we're here, we have emails. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for your attention. Bye.
Good report.
Pam, a question came up the other day about the garden plots. When are they allocated?
It was on my list, thank you. The garden plots are allocated, well, it ends this month, so we have a couple of, I suspect we'll have a couple of openings. We have our next meeting on the 14th of August, in which that is one of our topics. So yes, there should be a couple available. The way to get on that list, if you want it, is right now, email Kate Chambers. She's responsible for keeping the garden plots organized. So if you're interested, please email her now. We are discussing that as a committee on August 14th. Good? Okay, thank you for bringing it up.
The next up is Jim Jondro is going to talk about the Veterans Committee.
There are 2 quick things I want to mention this morning. Yeah, they are quick too. You may not believe it, but first, our Cypress Village Color Guard now has a uniform based on a question that Katie Amador had for the Veterans Committee. And it includes high quality polo shirt with the flag on this sleeve, and on this sleeve the Cypress Village logo and the name Cypress Village. And over the heart of the veteran will be the emblem of their military service. And then there's going to be a navy blue baseball cap that tops it off. And it says Veterans, Cypress Village on it. Now, most probably the first time you're going to see this uniform, which brings me to my second point, and that is the official Veterans Day celebration is on Saturday, the 11th of November, 2023. Saturday. Veterans Committee has already started planning for the event, so put it on your calendar.
I tell you, Goy. That's Jim Gonza? The record.
Thank you, Jim. Record time.
Is that Jim?
Next up is Laurel. Who's going to talk about administrative services and parking.
Did everybody find a place to park this morning? Yes, ma'am. Anybody know? Okay. All right, everyone. So for those of you who are in unit and floor leaders, this is going to be a similar message, but I am including also the your resident parking feedback from the survey that was sent out about 2 weeks ago now. So from various remarks and feedback that I have received, it seems that some believe that our growing resident occupancy is the cause for the parking struggle. But I'd like to show some additional numbers to clarify why we're seeing a difference in parking now and why we've made the decisions we've made. So the handout that was next to the agenda today is a double-sided. One side is a parking map, and the other side is some statistics. So I'm referring to the statistics side right now. While the resident count has grown by 19 people in the past 2 years, our employee base has grown from 363 to 397 in the past 2 years. So I want to reiterate, we are not understaffed. We have higher numbers now, currently, than pre-COVID. Additionally, during the pandemic, visitors were not coming on site. So I pulled the AccuShield visitor data. That's what's on the top of that horizontal page. And in the past 31 days, we have had 3,899 visits from family and friends and 1,372 visits from providers. That is an average of 169 visitors and providers a day. And you can also see there on the top right side the high times for visitor traffic, which explains why at lunchtime it's often a challenge, because we are at capacity, usually between that 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. time frame. For these reasons, we've made the focus of our parking plan to redirect employees and visitors, including the agency and the physicians we bring in to have the services in-house for you all. We want to redirect them to clearly marked, easy to navigate and understand parking lots that leave little room for interpretation. One of the most interesting things we've seen over the past week and a half with making the back row more managed is we have had so many people parking back there, not residents, saying, well, I've always parked back here, I've always done. So come to find out, all of these folks that have been coming on campus have been parking back there, and then that's also taking away spaces for folks that want reserved spaces. So then regarding the feedback survey, so I texted out a link to the feedback survey, parking survey 2 weeks ago, and we had 153 resident respondents. 58 of those were house residents, so it was a pretty good, I would love more, the more feedback the better, but that was still a pretty good sampling. What we saw was that the parking experience of the house resident isn't all that different from the parking experience of the apartment resident in terms of satisfaction. For this reason, there isn't one particular neighborhood benefiting over another. 85% of residents can sometimes, often, or always find a parking spot in their preferred location. Keep in mind that's different for everybody. Somebody who lives on the second floor of the D Tower doesn't care about getting a main circle parking spot because they want to be closer to the D Tower entrance. Likewise, A Tower has a completely different concern than the B Tower, than the C Tower. 90.43% of drivers can sometimes, often, or always find a parking spot, though not a preferred. So those are the data that we received from you all, the people who took the survey. The hope is to relocate staff and private duty in order to see the preferred spaces open up for residents and or your visitors who need them. I've gotten a couple emails from folks that have a daughter who has hip surgery or had a hip issue, and so even though she's not a resident, when she comes to visit mom, she wants to be able to park in the main circle lot. I've got another who has a daughter-in-law that comes visit regularly, and so she can't take the stairs on the visitor lot, et cetera, et cetera. So the goal is, it isn't just for you, but for your visitors who benefit, but then getting all the able-bodied people who can take the stairs, who can walk the distance as far back away as possible. And then another just notable mention from the survey, when we surveyed in 2020, approximately 80% of residents had a disabled parking permit, but currently only 60%. I just found that interesting. So for either we have a more active population now, which means more drivers and more people coming and going, or we have less people willing to put up a disabled parking, like going to get a disabled parking permit, either or. Regardless of what is, and then one of the questions, if you saw on there, was security enforcement. So regardless of what is actually happening, based on the results, it said 80% of residents do not see security rounding in the parking lots. So the perception is that security isn't enforcing. That's what I kind of took from that. So we're actively working to increase visibility so that you see that people are actually, we have a security team that's actually looking at the parking lot to benefit you all. 10% of residents indicated that they don't leave but once a month or less, meaning no times. So where are these people with cars parking? Are they parking in a preferred space for 30 days at a time because they only leave once? Do they only leave once because they don't feel comfortable driving more? What options can we offer them? So one of the things is a potential community shuttle so that folks that are out in the houses can come to the towers. Likewise, if you have a friend out in the houses and you're in the towers, you can go visit them there. And then there's also talk of right now we have a 10-mile radius for our transportation team. What would it look like to extend that by chance? So these are part of the conversation that we're going to have with the RAC parking committee, and then we'll continue to send out pulse surveys to see what is actually needed. On Wednesdays, we have way higher parking than any other day of the week. Well, what's on Wednesdays? All of our physicians for the wellness clinic. So do we have an influx then? Because not only do we have residents coming in to go to their appointment, but we have the physicians themselves coming in. So come to find out, we spoke to one of our providers that's on a team of 4, coming from the office together, all driving 4 separate cars. So we asked her, like, Dr. So-and-so, could you all 4 ride together in your beautiful Lexus? And he said, yes, we can do that. So things like that, what can we do to minimize that on the high traffic days? Another notable mention, we've had an extended wait list for the reserved spaces underneath the parking garage. The resident interest for a reserved parking place under the garage has grown to the point where we regularly have 12 to 15 people waiting for a parking space. This consists of apartment and house residents alike. House residents can buy a reserve space, and we have some that do. In order to accommodate those requests, we need to transition some more of the back row into those reserve spaces. And with the plan we have in place, we would accommodate everyone who's currently on the wait list, and I think it's grown to 15 right now where it's at. In the past 6 months, we've had, this is during Marcus's tenure. Prior to Scott coming on, we actually had already transitioned 5 of the back row spaces closest to the wood shop to reserve spaces. But in the past 8 months, Virginia's laughing because she's one of them. In the past 8 months, these folks that are paying for a reserved space regularly have somebody else parking in them because, again, it's unclear. So it's confusing to residents and guests to have a portion of the back row reserved adjacent to the open parking. So as a result, we've decided to make the entire first floor of the garage reserved parking to make the procedure as clear as possible and to honor those who are paying. Additionally, we've added temporary signage to indicate where employees and private duty staff are to park. This will become permanent signage once the vendor completes the design and production. Doing this will help continue to clear the parking lots that are closest to the building. Employees in private duty should be parking in one of the 2 furthest lots so that residents have priority access to the closest parking. A portion of the back row of the garage will have signage that says reserved director parking between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. That way, once a director vacates a space at the end of the day and throughout the weekend, residents and your specific visitors will know exactly which back row spaces they can park in without parking in a paying residence reserved space. I had somebody say, why do the directors get special parking under the garage? Well, as I mentioned with the employee data, we have roughly 300 some employees looking to park. The directors, I would like to think, are pretty intelligent and would be the most controllable population in terms of, if I have to move them around, if we need to say, hey, directors, for today, we can't park there, we need to open it up for an event or whatever, they would be the ones most willing to accommodate and to move wherever they need to move. Getting a bunch of servers or getting a bunch of nurses or getting a bunch of cooks to communicate to them saying, hey, we need to reserve a row of parking is going to cause chaos. They don't have community emails. We don't have them on a group text, all those things. So the directors are the easiest employee population to manage. And like I said, those employee lots, they fill up every day. So we need to make sure we have some population of the employee to park in what we call overflow. Additionally, the main lot will be permit-required parking. Within the main circle lot, there will be 10 spaces clearly marked as house resident/event parking, but permits are still going to be required for those residents. One of the things we discussed this with all directors, with sales especially because they have a lot of sales visitors. Even our director of rehab, Michelle Therapy, she's been here for over a decade. One of the things that she mentioned, she told us, she said, I really don't like the visiting residents parking under the parking garage because it's unfamiliar territory and it's just asking for trips and falls because it's not, she's like, even with how it's lit right now, even with the yellow bumpers marked, when you're not used to it, then you hit a bumper, you trip and fall. And I was presenting this at unit leaders and floor leaders and Scott turns around and he goes, just 15 minutes ago we had somebody fall in the parking garage. Those with a reserved space, you know it. You've been in it, you know every crack in the sidewalk to get you to your door, but when you're visiting, that's when you're used and your eyes are adjusting from this daylight to under the garage, it adds a risk there. So that was another reason for thinking about the main circle lot. Not only is it closer parking for those coming in to visit, but there aren't the bumpers or anything like that to navigate. It just reduces obstacles. And then additionally, having it be permit parking only, it will deter those who have unregistered vehicles to park in one of the only location, it will have unregistered vehicles, they will not be able to park there. Because one of the biggest issues we see is we have an unregistered vehicle parking in a main circle parking space, and we can put a ticket and fine them every day, but unless we know who it belongs to, it doesn't have any teeth, it doesn't have any merit to it. So once that signage is in place, like I said, it's a lot of signage. But once that signage is in place, then we have the freedom to tow them. And it doesn't matter whose car it is, that's going to be up to the city and for the towing company to work that out. But we will have every right to tow that unregistered vehicle. Security has visitor permits in the office. So like I said, if any of you have a visitor that is a regular visitor or even not, but they need a closer space for that time, have them see security, have them register their vehicle, and we actually have a visitor pass that we can put an expiration date on it, and then they'll have the freedom to park in that main circle lot. General spaces in the main circle lot will have a 2-hour limit. Handicap spaces will have a 4-hour limit. And then the 10 house resident / event parking, they will not have a time limit, because I know some people come all day. They're going to want to knock out all their appointments, get lunch, and go to an activity. That we just ask no overnight parking for the house resident spaces and the event spaces. So in conclusion, we're not trying to take away priority parking from residents. Rather, we're trying to clear out the priority and the premium parking by redirecting those who are unknowingly parking there, or knowingly. We believe by clearly defining the purpose of each parking lot that employees, paid providers, and resident guests will all know where to park, and residents will have the best possible experience and will be able to park as close to the building as possible. Keep in mind, though, the conversation isn't over, it's ongoing. In conjunction with the RAC Parking Committee, we will continue to explore and consider some alternatives to house residents needing to drive to the towers, as well as tower residents, such as complimentary shuttles, expanded transportation services, etc. So if you have any questions, I will take it now.
How was the original paperwork? How did you send it out? Because we never saw it.
The question is, how was the original survey sent out? And it was sent out via text. So some people, we sent this through our text-email system, and everybody who receives a text has the option to opt out. If at any point you opted out of a text message or you opted out of getting a call from our community, it's up to you to opt back in, if that happened. I'm just saying.
It never came.
Okay. Okay, well then I can double check. I can send it out as well with the email and the newsletter. The initial survey that I sent was for baseline data, so we're kind of encroaching upon, like, past the time for baseline data, but just out of everyone here, I will go ahead and send it out one more time, but then we'll need to close this survey. Let's see, if we send it out by this week, then we can, probably, I'll give you for a week to Tuesday, I guess. I'll send it out today, and then by next Tuesday, that survey will close. And then I will continue to send out the same survey every quarter, because I'm looking for trends. Are things improving? Are the comments changing? Things like that. And like I said, if it's not working, then we can modify. But so far, it's kept a lot of the outside people away and giving you all priority. Any other questions?
Doesn't this need to be paper distribution? How many people here don't even get this?
It was, that's why I gave you that.
Oh, okay. Do you mean the survey, or do you mean the parking change? The survey, I don't have an assistant. I don't have anybody who could record that data. So I rely on electronics. Okay, well, I can't commit to that right now. I can look into something like that, but I'm doing the best I can with the resources I have, and when there's a computer system that tallies up all the data for me, that's going to be my preferred method.
They can always maybe.
Yeah, if they want to go to the concierge can fill out the survey for them with them, if they want to answer the questions. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I think that the parking on the second floor
Mm-hmm.
on the DN has improved, but there's still an awful lot of unidentified cars up there.
Mm-hmm.
Cars have no stickers, out-of-state license plates, you don't know who they are, although some of them stay overnight, some of them stay for 2 or 3 days. And I'm just kind of wondering, if the residents have visitors, aren't the cars that are visiting supposed to be identified?
That would be ideal. That would be the responsible thing to do. So 2 things about the second floor. We're not done with the second floor. One of the things we're going to it's all with signage, it stops there. We're going to make a D lot specific parking, where there will be parking signage that requires a resident permit. So that will be the permitted area of the second floor. However, the rest, we do need some guest visitor parking overflow. So that's why the rest of it doesn't require a parking lot. But again, with security, Scott's been very diligent with it. If he sees the same vehicle parking in a space and it seems odd, expired plates or out of state or yada yada, he investigates. And so one of the other big projects that we're working on too is updating the surveillance cameras everywhere, and those particular cameras up there need addressed. So that's going to be another thing. We'll be able to have cameras actually on the folks, so we'll be able to at least have a visual of them. And yes, sir, Bill?
I noticed the security guard, they're out in the morning to direct people. If for some reason there's more than 10 people from the houses and those spaces are taken, are those guards out there all day long to direct or redirect the house people where they can park when those 10 spaces are full? Say like on a special event, lunch and learn day or something like that. How are you handling that?
Okay, so the question has to do with if the main circle's full or the lots or the spaces designated to house residents is full. What is security doing? So during the high traffic times that we had on AccuShield, we do have a guard out there from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. To handle the high traffic. After 2 p.m. is when we have, let me rewind, if there's a special event, then Lisa Green and her team is very good about notifying us, and we will always have security during that event, during that parking time. So that's going to be on a case-by-case basis, not necessarily daily if it's after that time frame. And then additionally, we do have the option for overflow parking under the garage. We have some guest suite / concierge spaces that are under the garage in the event that we do have overflow and we need to direct somebody there. But again, it just has to do with management. Because the issue is we have people just parking all willy-nilly, and then it's ended up taking either paid parking spaces or it's not benefiting those who need it.
But where do the people park from the homes, houses, if they can't get in one of those 10?
They can park anywhere in the main circle. As long as you have a parking permit, they can park anywhere in the circle. The 10 spaces are just the one without the 2-hour time frame. They're the ones that just can't park overnight.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Wayne.
Could you just reassure us, you have 2 lots that have signage and on the map say employee and private union parking lot. Could you reassure us that all residents can park in those lots?
Yeah. Yes, residents, the whole point of, when I say preferred parking, that's different to everyone. Some folks would rather park in an employee lot, and then just because it's on the ground floor, than they would parking on the second floor or whatever. They'd rather walk the distance. That's okay. We're not going to tow you and all of that. I'm just saying the employee population needed some guidance on where to go, and that's the best way that we can offer that is by designating 2 areas for them and then overflow if needed.
You know, I ask because if the 8-tower lot is full, the obvious next spot is the next lot over.
Correct. So Wayne said if the A lot is full, the orange lot is full, then the next lot over is technically an employee lot. So of course, you have the right and the freedom to park there. This is your home. We're just trying to get the people who don't live here away. Back them up. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
If my daughter comes to visit and the 10 spaces in the front are filled, whatever.
The 10 spaces are for house and event parking. She has the whole main lot to choose from if she has a registered vehicle.
Okay.
And if she's parking short term.
So she should get a registered vehicle if she's going to be coming to see me often.
Yep, if it's going to be on a regular basis, the safest thing for her would be to register her vehicle and get a visitor space. Yep, and then if it's going to be overnight, it would benefit her to have security know that, and then we could make arrangements. Yes, go ahead, Doug.
Before you shut the microphone, are you up for any questions other than parking?
If time allows, do you?
Well, we still have time.
When will they be out?
Oh, easy one. Directories are going to be out on the same day as resident satisfaction surveys on August 17th after the luau, and then will be available at the concierge desk following August 17th. All right, thank you all.
Good job, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the big turnout today. It's great to see all your faces live here at the community meeting. I have a call that I cannot miss at 11. Katie is going to take my place and give you an update. It's a very quick one. But one thing, Laurel, before you leave, Laurel, I just have one word for Laurel, and that is courage, because I can assure you that there was a lot of reluctance with anybody that wanted to take on this project. So I think as difficult as it is, Laurel, thank you. Because not many people, I think, could accomplish what you accomplished, but doing it all yourself with some ancillary assistance, it's a huge job, and it really doesn't fall under her umbrella. So thank you from me and on behalf of everybody else. It has been a free-for-all for parking. I heard a lot of the comments, Jenny. I understand that. We needed to get a quick baseline, so she ran a quick survey monkey to get that information. This is going to be fluid. We're not, if this is not the perfect scenario, we will look at making amendments, but it was a free-for-all. We had to get some organization and some compliance in place, and I think she's done a great job. I'm going to leave it to Katie to give my update today, but again, thank you all, and Laurel, thank you for all your efforts.
Good morning, Cypress Village. I just want to say I totally agree with Ty. I think Laurel's done a really, really good job so far on this parking project. And the one thing that I just want to mention and that I always look out for, and I know that a lot of you do too, is I think her intention, actually I know her intention is to ensure that you all get the service that you need. And the parking that you need, and sometimes we have to do that in kind of a roundabout, circle-y way here at the village, but we're going to get there. So with that being said, I just want to remind you all, I know this is really great timing, but we have resident satisfaction surveys coming out next week, or on the 17th. So as Ty and Laurel mentioned, the first distribution opportunity for those surveys will be at the Luau on August 17th. Even if you're not planning to attend the Luau, you're still welcome to come by and grab your satisfaction survey and your resident directory. Following that, they'll be available at the concierge desk. You can pick them up. And then we'll also be attending some other events that we will distribute the surveys at. With that being said, Ty did have some remarks. I don't have those with me, but I do have a sticky note that I prepared for him. We will be putting some more information, all of the dates of the events that you can pick up your surveys and your directories. All of that information will be in the newsletter that's going out this week. So keep an eye out for that. Our focus this year is on participation. So to be quite frank, when COVID happened a few years ago, we just started noticing the participation of our surveys going down, in-person events. I mean, I think this is the biggest crowd we've had at community meeting in a long time. And a few years ago, this room was packed. So what we really want to focus on this year is hearing as many voices as we can. So whether your comments regarding a specific department or problem are positive or constructive, we want to hear those, especially, things that we can improve, things that we can goal plan for next year, ways that we can hold ourselves and one another accountable. So please be thoughtful with your feedback. Consider all of the details. You guys just heard a lot of information about parking. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, so just be thoughtful. And the other thing that we wanted to mention is remember the line staff. And what I mean by that is the directors are not the only ones that review this information and the feedback from these surveys. And I think oftentimes when any of us are taking a survey, we kind of take it based on our interactions with who we recognize from a particular department or area. But remember the people that serve you every day and that service that you get from them when you're taking these surveys, whether it's dining, security, concierge, transportation. Be thoughtful with that feedback as well. Of course, there's always ways that we can improve, but I know that you all know there's a lot of good things that go on around here as well. So all of your feedback is valuable. We honestly can't wait to hear it and have that information as we head into 2024 goal planning. So thank you. That is my message on behalf of Ty, and I'll pass it back to Janet.
Thank you, Katie. That concludes our meeting. Are there any questions that you suddenly decide you have a burning desire to give us? Questions?
We're exhausted too.
Okay. You're all tired. You're sick of me. Okay. So the next meeting is September 12th, 10 o'clock in Egret Hall. Thank you. Thank you for coming.